Welcome and Jai Bhim to all. In today's celebration of completion of the Buddha and his Dhamma book. So we'll begin with chanting. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. So welcome again to today's celebration of completion of the Buddha and his Dhamma book. And it has been a wonderful 2 years, I can say, since we began in October 2021, I remember. And we have, since last 2 years, studied the most sacred and holy book for our Buddhist movement, for our Ambedkarite movement, the Buddha and his Dhamma. And these 2 years were full of vigor, enthusiasm, and a greater and deeper reflection in studying this monumental book. And then I am glad to say that, we have covered 98 classes, 98 most interesting classes since last couple of years. And all those 98 classes, it generates greater interest in studying the Buddha and his Dhamma from individual, social, democratical, economical, and spiritual perspective. And then I will definitely say that, reading Buddha and his Dhamma, when I tried to individually read 10 years before, 15 years before, the English version of that book, I find it very hard to read that because the words which Baba Sahib had used and then the language which has been written by Baba Sahib, it was tough to understand when I tried to capture the English version of the book. Then I had to put one Marathi version of the book and then put it side by side to understand the meaning of that. But that was very hard. But these classes, since 98 classes that we had covered, it really helps me personally and also all of us to understand Buddha and his Dhamma in a very good, I can say, in a very engaging discussion, a deeper reflection that we used to have. And then we also have a good, I can say, good meaning that we all the time we would try to get the deeper and the profound meaning from each and every line, and then reading together and reflecting on each chapter and then each line, and followed by a profound discussion. Every classes, after Mangesh sir used to lead us these classes for 40 minutes and then 20 minutes or 15 minutes discussion. And that was so engaging, and that gives a wonderful interest to join these classes every Saturday. And definitely, I will say that these 98 classes, which is already available on YouTube online, will attract more and more people, not only from the Buddhist community, but definitely from non-Buddhist community who wants to join our Buddha Dhamma. They will definitely attract, and they will find this source so beneficial for them to practice the Buddha's Dhamma in their life. So I will really say to Mangesh sir that he's dedicated his last couple of years from his most busy schedule. I don't know, the 2 years where we all the time having ups and downs of life, but then Mangesh sir kept his commitment like anything, and he dedicated his whole time and his energy for us to understand the Buddha and his Dhamma since last 2 years. And I will love to say that this line, that Mangesh sir provided us refreshing waters of Buddha and his Dhamma teaching to all of us. These refreshing waters, we all get an opportunity to quench our thirst, to quench our curiosity to understand the Buddha's Dhamma, to understand the deeper meaning of the vision of Baba Sahib. So I really pay, on behalf of all of us, a deepest gratitude to Mangesh sir for for teaching us and providing us this valuable book and valuable classes throughout these 2 years. I pay my deepest gratitude. Thank you so much, Mangesh sir. Thank you so much for this great and rich last couple of years. Thank you so much. So now, after this, it is our time to share our insights, share our learnings, that we all the time join since the beginning of the class towards the end of the class. Then it is our time to give our reflection, give our learnings to all of us. So first of all, we will start with our Dr. Alka ma'am, and she has been, very thorough practitioner of Buddha's Dhamma. And then because of her, I will say that, this classes begins because definitely inspiration of the Buddha and his Dhamma that we all have. I think that origin definitely comes from Dr. Alka ma'am. So she will today will talk on Baba Sahib's journey to Buddhism. So over to Dr. Alka ma'am.
Thank you very much, Shashank, for taking such a great initiative in celebrating this program.
Yeah, sure.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. Respected Mangesh Daiwale sir, and all my brothers and sisters of virtual reading group and 2 groups of our Buddha and his Dhamma, and all other my brothers and sisters. A very happy Dhamma Chakra Pravartan Din. My topic is Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's journey to Buddhism. So, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's journey started with the gift of a book, Buddha Charitra. Shashank? First slide. First slide, please. First slide. Shashank? Next. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's journey to Buddhism started with a gift of a book, Buddha Charitra by Dada Kiyuskar, at the time of passing matriculation examination of Baba Sahib. Right. And at that time, he was the first student to pass from our community. So people of our community wanted to celebrate this occasion. And that on that occasion, Piyushkar Guruji presented him this book, Buddha Charitra, which was written by Dada Piyushkar Guruji only. And then Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar read that book with very great interest. And then he was very much impressed. And then and also very much moved by it. And then he started asking questions to his father, why he did not introduce Buddhism to them, and why he insisted upon reading Ramayana and Mahabharata. And he did not like the characters of Rama and Krishna, but his father would not give answer to any of his questions satisfactorily. So young Bhim wanted to explore everything himself. And then journey of Baba Sahib started to Buddhism. Thank you. Next slide, please. In 1927, Dr. Baba Sahib, addressing the opening session of the first Mahar Conference, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar told his poorly clad and illiterate audience, no lasting progress can be achieved unless we put ourselves through a threefold process of purification. We must improve the general tone of our behavior, retune our utterance, and revitalize our thoughts. purification of Kaya, Vacha, and mind. This was in 1927. Then in 1934, next slide. After this conference, Baba Sahib visited the Mahar Buddhist caves. In 1934, Baba Sahib built a house in Dadar, Mumbai, and named it as Rajgruh. The place where the Buddha spent 25 retreats, rainy retreats out of 45. Then on 1935, 13th October, at Yevla Nashik conference, Dr. Baba Sahib declared that he was born as a Hindu but will not die as a Hindu. Then on 31st, 1936, in Bombay Presidency speech, "What Way Liberty?" It was very, very famous speech. We all know about that speech very well. What way liberty, or what path to salvation, and or Mukti Kon Pathe in Marathi. Dr. Baba Sahib did not want his people to accept his decision blindly. That is why in his speech, Dr. Baba Sahib explained to the poor and illiterate people of our community why conversion was necessary for them. He explained the two aspects of the conversion: social as well as religious, material as well as spiritual. At the end of his speech, to give message to our people, Baba Sahib quoted Mahaparinirvan Sutta. Be self-illuminating like the lamp. Don't be dependent like the earth. Don't be a satellite. Believe in self. Don't be dependent on others. Be truthful. Always take refuge in the truth and do not surrender to anybody. Then he said, I also take leave in the words of the Buddha. Be your own guide. Take refuge in reason. Do not listen to the advice of others. Do not succumb to others. If you keep in mind this message of the Lord Buddha at this juncture, I am sure your decision will not be wrong. Then on 10th June 1936, Loknatha monk visited Baba Sahib Ambedkar's residence at Dadar, Mumbai. He tried to persuade Dr. Baba Sahib to embrace Buddhism. Then later in his interview, that Loknath monk said that Baba Sahib was very much impressed by Buddhism, and he is going to embrace Buddhism along with his Dalit people of his community. Then in 1941, Dr. Baba Sahib gave a Mahamantra to establish democracy in India. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Baba Sahib Ambedkar started the Buddha Jayanti, celebrating Buddha Jayanti since then. He included recitation of Om Mani Padme in his Buddha Puja part. Then in 1945, 8 July, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar founded the People's Education Society. In 1945, he established Siddhartha College in Mumbai. In 1948, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar wrote Introduction to the reprint of the book, The Essence of Buddhism by P. Lakshmi Narsu. In 1951, he founded the Milind Mahavidyalaya at the Naksen 1 campus in Aurangabad. Baba Sahib started writing the book Buddha and his Dhamma from 1951. The People's Education Society's objective are not merely to give education, but to give education in such a manner as to promote intellectual, moral, and social democracy. Then on 14th October 1956, Dr. Babasaheb embraced Buddhism. And at that time, Dhamma Diksha was taken at the hands of Reverend Mahathero Chandramani. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar gave Dhamma Diksha to followers by administering Krishan Panchashil and 22 oaths. Then 28th November 1956, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar gave a talk on Buddha or Karl Marx. Mr. Chan, whom former president of World Buddhist Council and honorable judge of Supreme Court of the Union of Burma, along with his wife, escorted Babasaheb Ambedkar to the dais. This was in 28th November 1956, after conversion. This then Babasaheb other writings are Buddha and Future of Religion, Om Mani Padme Hum, Buddhism paved for democracy and socialist pattern of society, rise and fall of Hindu movement, my philosophy of life, Buddhist movement in India, a blueprint, why I like Buddhism, conversion speech, Buddha or Karl Marx, preface to Buddha and his Dhamma from Columbia University website. All these writings of Babasaheb are available in volume number 17, and Buddha and his Dhamma is available in volume number 11. As today is 14th October, I would like to remember Dr. Babasaheb's message in his 15th October 1956 conversion speech. Your responsibility is great. Your actions should be such that other people will honor and respect you. Do not believe that this religion means we have got stuck with an albatross around our neck. The Indian art today is of no account as far as Buddhism is concerned. We should be determined to observe the Buddhist religion in the best way. It should not happen that the Mahar people would bring Buddhism to a low stage. We should make a firm decision. If we accomplish this, then we save ourselves, we save our country, and not only that, but the world also. Thank you very much. All this I have taken from the compilation of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar on Buddhism by Mangesh Dahiwale and Pradeep Bansode and Ravi Shekhe. Thank you very much, Mangesh sir, again for everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for an enlightening presentation. That was a beautiful presentation with a pictorial representation of Babasaheb and with good references that you have given. So thank you so much, ma'am. So I would like to ask audience if you have any question to Dr. Alka, ma'am. No? No question? All right. So then we will move forward for the next presentation, which will be presented by Dhara. She will present on Noble Eightfold Path. So over to you, Dhara.
Shashank, I will share From here, screen?
Yes, I will share the screen.
No, I'll share from here.
You want to share that?
Yes.
Okay, you can share that. No problem. Yeah. But then I think you don't have. Oh, you have that admin rights. That's
Okay.
good.
Can you
Perfect.
see?
Yes.
Okay. Debbie Hall, I want to thank you for thank you Shashank and Mangesh sir for organizing this session and giving this opportunity to speak. I want to introduce myself. I'm Dhara. I'm computer engineer. I was working as a research engineer before COVID. Then after COVID, I left my job and I was reading a lot of things. So that time I found Baba Sahib Ambedkar and through which I found Buddhism. So being lost and unsatisfaction and restlessness are the recurrent emotions in my life. So after reading Baba Sahib, I'm grateful. I found a lot of things making sense, and 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 I'm grateful for that. What's happening outside world and what's happening inside also making sense. So I currently I'm preparing for UPSC civil services. So in this journey also I do struggle with uncertainty, fear, and self-doubt. So I try to use these Buddhist practices to cope up with these situations. I'll share what I've understood from this journey. So I'll share about Noble Eightfold Path, which is Arya Arthangika Marga. So what is Noble Eightfold Path? It is a path to seek truth and to see reality what it is. So Buddha said it is very natural path, and we can see in everywhere the way nature manages its ecosystem. The path is rooted in the cause and effect. It is a conscious path to not to get imprisoned by our own emotions and extreme aversion and extreme craving. So, in a political sense, in Baba Sahib's word, it is a path that is grounded in liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice. It is a path of a bloodless revolution. So, Buddha says the place path is visible is the friendship. In every friendship we value, we are careful about our speech, we are mindful about our action, we don't exploit our friend. So the way we manage ourselves, we treat ourselves with our friend is the way Noble Eightfold Path. So why do we need to practice it? Because the nature of reality is such that all the events happening outside our world, inside are impermanent, and these create lot of suffering. And our self is not independent, permanent self. And so due to this nature of reality, it just creates inevitable amount of suffering in this shared human experience. By being a human only, we suffer by a birth, aging, sickness, and social realities like caste, gender, race adds further into it. So we struggle due to this reason: ignorance, craving, attachment, and resistance. In ignorance, we don't know what is happening inside of, no possibility of intervention. In attachment and resistance, even if we know that this is harmful for us, we crave what is pleasurable, and we avoid what is not pleasurable. So in this condition, we create lot of suffering, and because the nature of reality is such that we cannot hold on to something forever, and we cannot resist something forever. So it creates lot of suffering. So the knowing this is the Patiksha Samutpad is the first and second noble truth, how the suffering arises. But to eliminate suffering, we need to have some methods. So we need to hold on to some truths of Buddha, and the path shown by him. That is a noble, eightfold path. So the path is Samadhi, so vision, Sankalpa, thought, Bhakta, speech, Kamanto, action, Ajiva, livelihood, Vyayama, effort, Sati, mindfulness, Samadhi, concentration. Here, the word Sama or right does not mean it opposed to wrong. It means holistic, proper, thorough, integral, or completed. It opposite can be incomplete, but not wrong. So the path is like a door. You can enter into this and from any of 8 opening, yet the destination is same. The destination is the direct experience of nature of reality, that is Dhamma and Nirvana. So Samadhi is the knowledge or view that eliminates suffering, knowledge that creates safety, but it should not be based on the supernaturalism, superstition, or any without evidence. It should be rational and should give some view of nature of reality and its path of transformation. So Samma Sankalp, so it should Sankalp like cultivation of mind free from greed, ill will, harmfulness, and it should be having an emotional intelligence and acting from love and compassion. So our speech should be such that it should be clear, truthful, uplifting, and non-harmful communication. It should not be like the order of the superior or our own self-interest, and it should not be any pointless, foolish talk. Uh, it should be uplifting of others, and the action is based like ethical foundation and principle of non-exploitation. Uh, it's the basis of idea, basis of the society. The action should be such, and the Samajio is related to the action. So it is all interconnected. If we have Samadhi, then we have it is related to Samajio. So it's our livelihood we earn should be based on non-exploitation. Buddha says it's the basis of the ideal society. So Baba Sahib gives this analogy of human mind is imprisoned in the dungeon. He has forgotten anything that light exists. So our effort should be such that to remove the ignorance and to find the light and the cultivation of mind. In, so any action that is in conflict with Ashtanga Marg, so we bring back to it. So this path seems very easy, but when we try to practice it, so we need to remind our mind again and again, and this is where the Samasati comes. So he who lives without looking for pleasure, his senses well controlled, moderate in his food, faithful and strong, he will not be overthrown any more than the wind throws down a rocking mountain. If to himself a man is dear, let him keep a close watch upon himself. Samasati calls for mindfulness and thoughtfulness. It means constant wakefulness of the mind. Watch and ward by the mind over the evil passion is another name for Samasati. So Buddha says, if you hold yourself dear, watch yourself killed. Sama Samadhi. So Baba Sahib distinguished between Samadhi and Sama Samadhi. Samadhi is a neutral between emotion, but samadhi is motivator. So mind to think good and always think good, and samadhi gives the mind necessary motive, power to do good. This is how we cultivate the mind. These are the lines taken from the book. I think related to the this path. Though one should conquer the battle, thousands and thousands of men who shall conquer himself, he is the greatest of warriors. First establish thyself in the light, then thou mayest counsel others. Let not the wise man give occasion to reproach. If one saves oneself according one as one counsels others, thus well controlled, one will have control over others. Oneself, they say, is hard to control. Verily, oneself is a guardian of oneself. What other guardian should there be? Guarded by oneself, one gets a guardian like a fish is not likely gotten. All created things perish. He who knows and sees this become passive in pain. All forms are unreal. He who knows and sees this become passive in pain. Nibbana is not but a noble eightfold path. So, Jai Bhim, now Buddha, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dara, for a wonderful presentation on Noble Eightfold Path, because this path is so important in understanding and practicing the Buddha's Dhamma in our daily life. And thank you so much, taking great efforts to presenting and then sharing your knowledge and experiences. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will take some couple of questions if audience have any questions. So I request, please take an opportunity to ask question to Dhara.
So my understanding is only a beginning, so I'm only able to answer, but if anyone wants to add something, so they can add.
Yeah, definitely. So please go ahead if anyone wants to add or reflect or something on this Noble Eightfold Path. It seems like audience is so quiet today.
Hello, Rahul here.
Yes, Rahul.
Yeah, this is actually means very one of the very basic important teaching of the Buddha, I think. Means whatever he has delivered in his first sermon, that is the conclusion of that sermon at the end, that this path leads to the enlightenment. And actually, means I just want to add one thing is that if we want, this path is actually divided into two things. So vision and transformation. So first is the samadhi, the right vision, that is the vision, and next seven are the path of transformation. Actually that we have to apply throughout the life. So those all sevens, right from samyak sankalpa, samyak vacha, samyak karmanta, samyak ajivika, samyak smruti, samyak samadhi, these all are the transformations. So basically sometimes it is also divided into three aspects, so that when we divide it into three aspects, so that is prajna, sheel and samadhi. Yeah, so the sheel and samadhi also means that is the second transformation is divided into two one. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahul. I think wonderfully put those two aspects, like vision and transformation, and then that what is our vision and where we are leading, and then the rest of the aspects are transformation, and that all leads to enlightenment. And then we all human beings have the potential to approach towards enlightenment and get that potential to transform our life, and then reach to that highest level of cultivation, and that is enlightenment. So very well put, Rahul Bhai. Thank you so much.
I think shield must be followed strictly before practicing Eightfold Path. Otherwise, there is no concentration. There will be no right effort and no right samadhi.
Yeah.
You cannot concentrate. Samadhi cannot be established unless and until you follow Panchashil.
Yeah. Thank you. So, all right. So then, thank you so much, Dhara, for your presentation. So, thank you. So then we will move to the next presentation. That is how Buddha's Dhamma focuses on happiness. And I will take that opportunity to present that. So let's see if you cannot share. So Dhara, can you stop your sharing so that I can share my presentation? Thank you.
Shashank, why there is the volume less?
I think it must be a problem with Dhara's microphone, maybe.
Okay.
So that's why. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah, we can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Jai Bhim all once again. So today I will present, or I will talk rather, on how Buddha's Dhamma focuses on happiness. So before we turn into happiness, we will look at what Baba Sahib talks about sufferings in Buddhism. So Baba Sahib said, if life is sorrow, death is sorrow, and rebirth is sorrow, then there is an end of everything. Neither religion nor philosophy can help a man to achieve happiness in the world. The four Aryan truths deny hope to man. The four Aryan truths makes the gospel of the Buddha a gospel of pessimism. This is what Baba Sahib said in the introduction in the Buddha and his Dhamma. Then we look at Siddhartha Gautama. Siddhartha Gautama, what he saw, after he got enlightenment, he saw only two problems after enlightenment. First problem, there is suffering in the world. And then second, how to remove this suffering and make mankind happy. So that is all the complexities, he put it into only two problems. There is suffering in the world and how to remove this suffering and make mankind happy, which is our today's topic, how Buddha's Dhamma teaches us to be happy, how it focuses on happiness. So that second problem we're going to focus on. So how Buddha's Dhamma, focuses on happiness. First of all, we need to accept the suffering or problem, We cannot suppress our suffering. We cannot ignore our problem. We need to accept our suffering or problem. And then second, we need to remove all causes of suffering. All causes of suffering. That causes can be jealousy, it can be anger, it can be craving, it can be frustration, it can be anxiety, fear or stress. Once we remove all these causes of suffering, then we are leading towards happiness. Then we are moving towards the path of Dhamma. So this is how the Buddha's Dhamma focuses on happiness, by following these two aspects. But then, what Buddha's Dhamma teaches us to be happy? What Buddha's Dhamma teaches us to be, that is very important. So first of all, it teaches us to practice mudita, mudita. That is joy. And what is that mudita talks about? It's so beautiful that gets so much joyful when our friend, got promotion, he becomes from junior to senior, from senior to manager level, from manager level to the president or something, and we feel overjoyed. We are like congratulating him, we are like celebrating his success, celebrating his great achievement without having any trace of jealousy. And that celebration is like he's like appreciating his hard work, he's appreciating his wonderful achievement. And that achievement can be our friend, it can be our like family members as well. They are uh, achieving to the highest ladder of their life, and then we are like celebrating their highest achievement in our friend circle as well, in our Ambedkarite Buddhist community as well, because many people are nowadays are like achieving the highest ladder. For example, people are going to the USA for the education, people are going for the Europe for the education, people are like working in the European countries or in the USA countries, and these people from the Ambedkarite Buddhist community are achieving the highest ladder, and we are like overjoyed. We are so proud of them, we are so inspired by them, and we are so happy and joyful. And also we are dancing with their success, dancing with their celebrations without having a single trace of jealousy. And that is mudita. We are celebrating the success of our people, other people, our friends, and all the people, by practicing this mudita. That is joy. It's very beautiful. I can say the first practice, mudita. And then second is karuna, the compassion. That compassion is back up with the action. This doesn't doesn't stays in your mind. And, oh, that person is like living in a bad state. Doesn't like only have the feeling of kindness or something. But that compassion is always back up with the action. That people nowadays today are feeling lonely, they are feeling depressed, they are feeling frustrated, they are feeling stressful. And also people people are die of hunger, people have no job, people have no money, people have no homeland. And that also the suffering, we see that. But then when you have that compassion, when you have that kind of attitude of helping people, we go directly to that person, we try to get rid of this depression, we try to get rid of this loneliness, we try to talk to that person, we try to guide that person to get a job, we try to guide that person to come out of that state of mind. We try to give him the food, we try to give him the education to get a good job. So that kind of a compassion we all carries to help that person, to help that person, to help that society. And then that gives a joy. Then that gives a wonderful joy that, yes, I'm able to help that person. I'm able to guide that person. I'm able to help that person to come out of the depression, come out of that loneliness. So that is karuna. It also gives a equal joy. And then we come to the maitri, that is loving kindness, love. And that help that we started with the karuna, that doesn't limit to one society or one particular community. We have the mindset of throughout the humanity. We have the love throughout the humanity, irrespective of caste, irrespective of religion, irrespective of race. So we have that loving kindness towards the whole humanity. And we are practicing that loving kindness. We are practicing the metta towards all human beings. But they're not only just human beings. Buddha extend this loving kindness towards all living beings, all the animals, all the birds, all the living beings living in the Pacific Ocean, living in the sea, living in the jungle. We are like transferring the metta to everybody. And that loving kindness will also give you deeper happiness to extend our compassion to all the living beings. That is Maitri. And then fourth is Upekka. Upekka is a Pali word, and in Marathi we call Upeksha. And that is nothing but a samatha. Again, it is a Pali word, but then I will put it that it is an equilibrium state of mind. So that in our life, there are 8 loka dharmas we always face. That is we always get, sometimes we get success, sometimes we fail. Sometimes we get appreciation, sometimes we face criticism. Sometimes we gain, sometimes we lose. Sometimes we have happiness, sometimes we have sadness. And we all human beings pass through these 8 loka dharmas in a day-to-day life. But Upeksha taught us to keep our equilibrium state of mind irrespective of its 8 loka dharmas. Even if you have someone praises you, appreciates, oh, you have done a wonderful job, wonderful. We never get overjoyed by that appreciation. We never get egoistic with that appreciation. We always humble. We always stay humble. And then when someone criticize us, when someone try to improve or try to give some improvement points, we never feel, I can say, demoralized with that. We always try to improve ourselves, try to change ourselves, and that is something we take as a point of improvement. So in those both state of mind, we always keep an equilibrium state, a steady state of mind, and that it also gives us the happiness, because that doesn't affect our state of mind. So this is for Brahma Vihara. I will say that we are living in a happy state by practicing mudita, karuna, maitri, and upeksha. So this is what the Buddha's Dhamma teaches us to be happy. But then Buddha's Dhamma is focusing on inner happiness, and that is very, very specific. Buddha's Dhamma doesn't specifically focusing on external ones. It's just focusing on inner happiness. And what about external ones that we are talking about here? The external ones can be I will definitely give the example of today's latest example, that people are now, approaching for the material things. For example, today in the latest market that we have iPhone 15, iPhone Pro is launched now, just one couple of weeks back, and people are like crazy like anything to buy that iPhone 15 or iPhone Max or something. And once they get that iPhone 15 or iPhone Pro or something, they are so overjoyed and so happy that they got this latest brand of iPhone, and then try to utilize that. They try to understand all the functions and the features of that phone. But then the question is whether that happiness lasts forever, whether that joy lasts forever of buying that iPhone 15. So I will say that after 3 or 4 months, that happiness gets reduces, the joy gets reduces. If something happens to the phone, then we feel sad as well. If this something is not working as per our expectation, then the sadness takes place. So that is also happens with the material things we buy. And also in today's social media, we always trying to gain happiness by posting any photos on WhatsApp status, keeping our status on a DP, or posting our photos on a social media or Facebook and try to gain likes, trying to gain attraction. Oh, that you are having a wonderful lunch in one of the hotel, and then you're eating a delicious buffet lunch at one of the hotel, and then you are having the selfies and then trying to put or post on that social media and trying to gain likes and comments. And then one post will not give you a lasting happiness. 100 likes or 200 likes will not give you a lasting happiness, because that happiness reduces after 1 week or 2 weeks. So that is what Buddha's Dhamma is talking about, that he's talking about the inner happiness and not the external ones, which is never last forever, which always gets reduces, which always gets subsided by over the period of time. So that is what my first point here is, that success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. So what do you mean by that? Success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. So here we are having a lot of people successful, but they are not happy. They got a success, they haven't reached the highest peak of the ladder, the highest peak of the career, but they are not happy. They are miserable. They are living in a state of sadness. For example, there are people who are told that, oh, you have to be engineer, but he's not happy to be engineer. Then there are people who said, oh, you have to be doctor, come on, that is something, you have a prestige in society. But is he really happy inside? But then we have successful people who achieve the highest ladder, who got Oscar award, who got all the highest awards, a national award or something. But that person, is he really happy inside? Is he having a good life that he's living? And there is always a vacuum in that, the millionaire or billionaire people, who have the richness, who have the big luxurious life, greatest luxurious life, a big bungalow and the car and everything, they have already reached to the highest successful point. But are they happy inside? I think most of the people are miserable. Most of the people are feeling lonely. Most of the people are depressed like anything. So that's why we say that success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. So without living life of fulfillment, we are leading towards failure, I will say. So what is living life of fulfillments? First of all, we need to practice gratitude. Whatever we have, we feel appreciated. We are grateful that we have. We are living a luxurious life. We are having the good educations. We are having the wonderful job in our hand, and then we are having the beautiful Dhamma in our life. We are grateful for that, and then we have the love towards our family, towards our friends, and then we have metta. There is wider than the love, which is broader than the love. And we're extending our maitri and metta to all the living beings and human beings. And then we have the enthusiasm practicing that metta. But then we have joy. So whenever we have this life of fulfillments, practicing on daily basis, and then it becomes a part of our life, that we never feel having any sadness. We never feel having any loneliness when we have this kind of a life of fulfillments. So that is what Buddha's Dhamma is focusing on: inner happiness, practicing love, practicing gratitude. And then I want to conclude by this presentation by saying that what gives us happiness? What gives us happiness? Progress is equal to happiness. And that progress can be mental progress, emotional progress, spiritual progress, a physical fitness that we are having, and then financial progress, and then the spiritual progress. All progress, whenever we try to change ourselves from one level to next level, then the next level, from mental level, from emotional level, from spiritual level, from financial level, from physical fitness level, then we feel happy. It is not what you get that makes you happy, but what you become in the process, that gives you the ultimate happiness. So that is what Buddha's Dhamma is focusing on. It's be progressive, be active, be enthusiastic, and then gain that ultimate happiness. And that ultimate happiness is nothing but the enlightenment. So thank you so much, all of you, for giving me this opportunity. So if you have any questions or reflections, so please feel free to share.
Yeah, Rahul here.
Yes.
Brother Shashan, thanks for explaining in such a melodious voice, and it's really insightful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just actually, means the criticism was on the Four Noble Truths, basically was from the uh, Christian missionaries. They were criticizing it. So I just compare with the another analogy that actually, if we have hospitals, at least every time is own at least single or multiple hospitals. So what they are criticizing is that you have built so many hospitals, so you are only thinking about diseases. So it's just like they are criticizing, you are talking about dukkha. So your focus is only on dukkha, but we are building hospitals just for the future diseases. If somebody develops diseases, so at that time we cannot build the hospitals, no? So we are already taking precautions
Yes.
for that one. So that actually I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul sir. Thank you so much. Any other reflection?
Not reflection, Doctor, only the request, all the presentations that have presented over here today, please be shared in the group also. Very insightful these are.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Definitely, Umesh bhai. So, all right. I think if there are no any question or reflection, then we will go to the next segments of our celebration. That is, I will hand over to Pankaj Bhai, and then he will open up the gratitude session. And then he will also introduce Mangesh sir for requesting concluding speech. So over to you, Pankaj Bhai.
Thank you, thank you, Shashank Bhai. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for the confirmation. So, dear friends, Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. First of all, today is 14th October, a day very close to our heart, the day of revival of Buddhism in India in 1956, 14th October, around 66 years from here. So, I wish you a very happy Dhamma Chakra Pravartan Divas. Now, as in the introduction session, Brother Shashank said, we started these classes of Buddha Ideas Dhamma around 2 years ago with 98 or 99 around classes. But the thinking behind starting those classes started much way ahead. And what was in the mind of Mangesh probably could have been to start teaching Buddha and his Dhamma means to serve humanity, to serve our own mind. And that is what is ultimate truth. By conducting so many sessions, we have achieved that, because it is not that many of the people have read Buddha and his Dhamma before, but with line by line understanding, with word by word understanding, and then exploration of that, and with reflection on that, the things have completely changed. Means the way we understood it now is totally different than what we understood it before. So really, hats off to Mangesh Bhai, the way he conducted these sessions, and with the thinking in his mind. What was the thinking in his mind? So we basically paid homage to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar by conducting these 98 sessions and exploring his book Buddha and his Dhamma, that was written at the end of his life, when he was at the peak of his, he was enlightened most that time, with what Alkatai said, starting from in early year, he is sticking till his last bit to his Buddha and his Dhamma, and he completed that book in what year time? In 1951 to 1956. So just imagine what knowledge he gained. He put everything in that book. So, and again, I would like to read the last message of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar that he gave on the 15th October 1956. The day after conversion in Diksha Bhumi, so-called in Diksha Bhumi, which is in the Nagpur now. He said, however, your responsibility is great too. Your behavior should be such that all the people will honor and respect you. Do not think that this religion means we are stuck with the corpse around our neck. As far as Buddhism is concerned, the land of India has no account. We must resolve to follow Buddhism in the finest way. It should not happen that Mahar people have brought Buddhism to disgrace. So we must have firm determination. If we accomplish this, then we will thrive ourselves, our nation, and not only, but the whole world, because Buddhist religion will be the only savior of the world. Unless justice, there will be no peace in the world. And isn't it true? I remember in one of the books of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, he wrote, justice is another name of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Basically, Babasaheb Ambedkar offered us Buddhism as a tool to uplift not only our social status, but also our mind. And with the help of Mangesh Bhai, we were able to read it again and again, line by line, and word by word. So he is also expecting some payback from us. In many of his sessions, he said, don't stop here. Don't stop here. Whenever you get chance, just explore this book. Just put this message of Baba Sahib to entire world, irrespective of any caste, religion, creed, any group, any race. But you put this because this message is to serve the humanity. So, and friends, we know nowadays Jai Bhim means Namo Buddhaya. Jai Bhim means Buddhism, and that is what we are living nowadays. So to introduce Mangesh Bhai, what I think, what I feel, there is a battle started around 2500 years ago. The battle or the war or the conflict between good and bad, between truth and untruth, between the reality and knowing the real reality, or we can say between the beliefs and disbeliefs. And the winner of this battle starts on the sides of humanity. And the winner of this battle is actually stands on the side of Buddha or the Buddha's mind. And this is never ending battle. It will go on again and again for coming ages. And if we all are the soldiers in that battle, then Mangesh Bhai is a chief commander of that. He is a chief commander of us. And that is what Mangesh Bhai is. So I request all the members, if you want to say something about Mangesh, please keep it short and sweet and express yourself, your feeling, and then we will hand it over to Mangesh sir to conclude it. Okay, so please come forward. We already, many of the people already expressed gratitude. So please come forward one by one. And if you want to express your feelings, you are free to express it. Over to you, one by one. Or if you want, I can make the name also from the list. Will that be better? I think, Umesh, let us start from you. If you're.
Thank you, Pankaj Bhai. These words are very limited to pay the thanks to Mangesh Bhai. The journey that we have covered so far, and still this journey is going on, it was very wonderful, very insightful, and he was our torch bearer in the field in this area, because as I am concerned for myself, I was not very much studied this Buddha and his Dhamma till I have attended the first lecture. And after the first lecture, I have almost in 98, in 99 sessions, I followed almost all of them. Might be 2, 3 I have missed. And again, to be precise, thanks is a very small word with me, but the gratitude is much more beyond that. Thank you, Mangesh Bhai. Thank you so much.
Rahul sir.
Hello, Jai Bhim everyone. I also agree with what Mr. Brother Umesh Bhai just said, that we cannot express in short words the importance of this one and what efforts Mangesh sir has took. So I just wanted to highlight that thing, that whatever Baba Sahib has left as a crux or as a ultimate goal, that was Buddha and his Dhamma. And we can see after his death, that is not spread as it was required. And this was a very honest effort by Mangesh sir to brought into practice and to teach the people, because there were confusions. Some people were thinking about that in Marathi this translation is not good. Some people didn't understood that one, and some Hindi translation were object. The people were having some objection that uh, or whatever maybe, but they were not much inclined towards the translation. So I think this is the first effort. I also said this last time. This is the first effort actually, so seriously and on so intellectual level has taken place. And I think these recordings, as these are in public domain, so this will serve with other people as well. Right now, we can see that a lot of people are not aware of that this such type of recording is there, and with those recordings we can also find the other supplement materials, like we can say the commentary we can find to those things, and that will definitely serve. So I think we have just started the journey where Baba Sahib has or it has been stopped there, because immediate the appearance of this book we can see with his death. So I think this is the starting point, means we have to took this as a starting point. And let us all support this spreading the Buddha and his Dhamma, because this means from the Buddha and his Dhamma's perspective, we can see that it is not a particular yana, means we can see there are branches: Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, Tantrayana. There are some Tibetan Tripitakas, some Gandhari Tripitakas, and so we can see everything, whatever it's means thought to be originally linked to the Buddhism. Baba Sahib has taken all these references, so that confusion is completely gone now, that which yana we are following. We want to follow the true Buddhism, and we have the torch bearer, as it is said, that the Buddha and his Dhamma. So with that lenses, I think we can march long ahead, and there is still we have the bigger journey to go ahead. And that's it. Thanks everyone. Thank you.
Deepak ji.
Jai Bhim, everyone.
Jai- Jai.
So, this was my first session actually. I have joined. Yeah. But again, echoing the same words what our earlier colleague friends have said, that spreading this knowledge is a must for our people. Because reading the book, and I have also read at least 3 times, but to understand it, it is very difficult and it is very um, time consuming to digest. And if someone is spreading through these practice, it is really good for our community. Thanks again, Mangesh ji.
Vricha. Hi, Vricha. You can hear us? Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile,
Yeah, there is much chaos around me, but I'm at Diksha Bhumi Nagpur right now. But I guess what this classes has given all world is Buddha and his Dhamma's digital library. So those who wants to assess and go in depth one by one chapter wise, it's really valuable resource. And I thank everyone and the host for Mangesh sir to deliver the lectures and all the attendees. I'm so sorry. I will because there is quick chaos. There is much to say, but I'm really grateful for all the attendees to attend the classes here. I will just give you some of the glimpses here. If, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Rucha, please stay there. You can show us Diksha Bhumi.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I will make a move.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, maybe camera angle, I'm not sure. Yeah.
No,
This
I
is
will
Bodhi
guide
tree.
you. We are unable to see you.
Uh,
Your camera.
okay, like this.
Now it is okay. Now it is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bodhi tree here,
Yes.
and are you able to see the Diksha Bhumi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Dada, do you want me to see show any other thing? There is much crowd going on right now.
No, Richa, thank you. Means it is really great thing you did. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. We have Anil ji.
Hi, Jai Bhim, everyone.
Jai Bhim,
I
Anil.
hope you can hear me.
Yes.
This is a great effort by Mangesh Bhau. Thank you very much. And this effort will kind of outlive many of us and hopefully benefits a lot of people so that they are able to understand the true meaning of Buddha and his Dhamma by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. One thing I just wanted to say apart from this is we Buddhist people, the erstwhile Mahar who converted to Buddhism, need to be very compassionate towards the people, especially from non-Maharashtra region, who are yet to understand Baba Sahib, especially on his religious thoughts, etc. We shouldn't try to kind of impose it way too much onto them. Let them discover. We should just show them the path and the way, and let them discover the path of Dhamma, rather than trying to impose it on them and saying, if you are not a Buddhist, then you are not Ambedkarite. Because I come across this kind of thought a lot. Other region people are a little slow to catch up because we are lucky being from Maharashtra and Maharashtra from the same caste. So when Baba Sahib said convert, we kind of at one call we converted. But for others, it is taking time. Let's be compassionate towards them. Let them discover the true meaning of Dhamma and follow the path of Buddha. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we have we covered all the attendees. Others have already given in their speeches. So, Mangesh bhai, if you can conclude this session, it will be great.
So there comes a time when we are at the end of a great journey, and so I don't have much to say on this occasion because I think a lot of things have been already said. I think what do we mean by the Buddha and his Dhamma? As we figure it out that it was a living monument to Baba Sahib Ambedkar. It was like the heart and mind of Baba Sahib himself. And I think the act of reading the Buddha and his Dhamma or studying the Buddha and his Dhamma is not just the act that we do through our brains or through our rational mind or through conceptual mind. Of course, we have to bring those qualities to study the book like Buddha and his Dhamma. But more than an act of reason or act of rational method to know Baba Sahib Ambedkar. I think it's an act of emotion. It's an act of bhakti. It's an act of devotion. Like the devotion is very negative word in the Ambedkarite communities, but to have faith in the highest is something that has a very quick effect on one's development, because most of the times when we are living our lives as a human being, we do not have the living embodiment of our goals or targets in our life. What is the standard by which we can measure our lives? And those standards, those examples, those models, those ideals cannot come from reading the books. They can only come by the people who are the living examples of it. And Baba Sahib Ambedkar is not very far from us, because our fathers, our grandfathers, our grandmothers have seen Baba Sahib Ambedkar in the flesh and blood. So his model is very alive for us, and therefore thinking about him, thinking about putting him at the center of our lives and placing our heart onto him, is not a blind hero worship, because we know that if we follow in the footsteps of Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and when Baba Sahib Ambedkar describes this word Sharanam Gachami, he uses a very profound word, Anusaran, to emulate, to walk in the footsteps of somebody who has gone ahead of us. And I think that is the approach we should have whenever we study the book like the Buddha and his Dhamma. Place our heart into the great model that we all want to emulate. So the devotion, I think, is the most important word here. So I always try to look at Baba Sahib Ambedkar as somebody whom you can place, on whom you can place your heart onto. Like in all different Buddhist traditions, you have central figures other than Shakyamuni. Shakyamuni is, of course, the source of Buddhism and the source of great emancipation. But if you go to Tibet, you have Padmasambhava. If you go to Japan, you have the great figures like Dogen, Kukai, and all these prominent figures there. In the Buddhist history, we have had many examples of the great Buddhist teachers, almost enlightened masters. And in the modern times, if we have to look up to that enlightened mind, we cannot but look at Baba Sahib Ambedkar. So I often, whenever I think about Baba Sahib Ambedkar, I think in terms of, in a very devotional manner, as somebody who can be, emulated. So these 5 words rather, are very important, that Baba Sahib Ambedkar, they can be applied to Baba Sahib Ambedkar. They are used in the case of the Buddha in the Ratana Sutta, like Varo, the highest, and the Varanyu, one who knows what is the highest. Varado, one who gives the highest, and one Varaharo, one who takes to the higher and higher, and Anuttaro Dhammavaram, the highest Dhamma he takes us to. So these 5 profound words which are applied to the Buddha can be applied to any man who has, or women who has gone forth, who has attained to higher. And these 4-5 words, they describe the very, very, very essence of Baba Sahib's life. He was the highest in all the ways. His mind was accomplished. His mind was gone beyond from the normal, functioning of the minds. He was Varanyu. He knew what is the highest. He knew what matters. He knew the highest. He was the giver of the highest, Varado. On this very day, 14th October, he gave us the highest, Varado. Varaharo, he took millions and millions of people to the higher and higher stages. And it is going to continue. It's not going to be stopped ever. And then, it's peerless and Dhammavaram. So, whenever I think we read Buddha and Dhamma, which I think is a lifelong sort of a practice, that we need to continue to read the Buddha and Dhamma forever, and teach the Buddha and Dhamma forever. In fact, we are trying to communicate this highest in Baba Sahib, the highest that he gave, the thing, the path that takes us to the higher. So I look at Baba Ambedkar in that way, and the study of the Buddha and his Dhamma that way. So on this occasion, I thought these 6 verses from a very great Buddhist poet, Matracheta. He was a very good, great Buddhist poet, and he wrote in Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit, and he was a poet par excellence. So his words are very important to imitate or to walk in the footsteps of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So let me just read a few verses, like 6 verses, which I think will be very important to develop that kind of a devotion or shraddha. In Buddhism, shraddha means holding on to the truth. Saddha, isn't it? It has nothing to do with what is called the blind faith. The shraddha in Buddhism is always how the truth. It's adhering to the truth, holding on to the truth. So generally, the qualities of the Buddha or the great beings like Baba Saheb are not describable. So Matrucheta in terms of the Buddha says Ashakya Stavan. Stavan is a word which means praising the great beings with our heart. Stavan is a very beautiful word. And I reckon that the beginning of the bhakti is begins with the Buddha. Isn't it? The people couldn't stop but place their everything onto the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. So this is Ashakya Stavan, which is very difficult, something very difficult to describe, something which is difficult to talk about. So the poet Matruchetta, he says, like, I'm going to read, of course, in English. Since formerly not knowing who was and was not a field of merit, following tradition merely, I sinfully uttered praise of what deserved no praise. So Matruchetta says that before I knew who was the great field of merit, means Punya Kshetra. Now, field of the merit is a very beautiful Buddhist word, which means that if we plant our seeds there, there it gives tremendous benefit. So the field of merit generally constitutes the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, or thinking about or reading about Baba Ambedkar is also the great field of merit. So Matruchetta says that before I knew who was and was not a field of merit, following tradition merely. So what was going on? I just followed it. I sinfully uttered praise of what deserved no praise. Isn't it? So praising, singing, talking about Baba Saheb Ambedkar, his great work, his great books, is like celebrating what cannot be celebrated by mere words. It is the highest form of stavan, it's the highest form of devotion, it's the highest form of shraddha. And shraddha is so critical for our development. We have to place our heart onto the living models. Now, cleaving to thee, O sage. Now, I attach myself to you, O sage, who art a holy bathing pool in motion. So he is comparing the Buddha, and we have seen this simile in the Buddha and his Dhamma. The Buddha, Baba Ambedkar compares the Sangha with the bathing pool. And here, Matruchetta says, cleaving to thee, O sage, who are a holy bathing pool in motion, I undertake the cleansing of the stain caused by the mud of those words. Isn't it? So now, by praising you, I am cleansing myself from whatever unworthy phrases I have uttered in my life. So you see, the Buddha and his Dhamma is like, I would compare it with like holy bathing in motion. It's a Punya Kshetra. It's a holy bathing pool in motion. And whenever we read, we think, we talk, we teach the Buddha and his Dhamma, it's like cleansing of the stains caused by the mud of the useless words. So you see, if we bring in this attitude, and I think this devotional attitude is very important whenever we study the Buddha and his Dhamma, or whenever we are going to go back to the Buddha and his Dhamma again. And Matruchetta further says, may this be a purification, wiping sin away, for that fault of mine, that offense which blinded by folly I committed against the hips of excellence. See, the words used by the great poet Matruchetta is also important. He says that may this be a purification. So I think we should look at the Buddha and his Dhamma as a kind of an exercise to purify our minds. our speech, and our bodies. So may these be a purification, wiping sin away, whatever, the wrongs we commit. For that fault of mine, that offense which blinded by folly, I committed against the hips of excellence. So I chose to read this because, these very three important metaphors here: field of merit, Punya Kshetra, then bathing pool in motion, and hips of excellence. It's the Buddhism is like a hips of excellence. You cannot exhaust the treasure of the Buddhism Dhamma. Until I cease to be, means till the end of my life, until I cease to be, may this two, word and deed, means my speech and my action, not depart from me, by which your virtues are uttered, and the deed which is recourse to your Dhamma. So you see, this is a very profound sort of a thing. Whenever, we talk about the Buddha's Dhamma, when we talk about Baba Ambedkar, when we think about him or his great life and his great messages that are left behind, till our last breath, till we die, until I cease to be, may these two, twin, word and deed, so my speech and my action, not depart from me, by which your virtues are uttered, and the deed which is recourse to your word. So you imagine a mind of purity that is, completely in devotion with the great beings like Buddha, Baba Sahib Ambedkar. You cannot imagine the strength of that mind. So now the verse number 5th, and then I'm going to read the last one before I conclude. Let me speak of thee, or else let me not speak at all. So Matrushita says that if I have to speak, I only speak of you, or else let me not speak at all. Either I speak of you, or I keep quiet. This tale is the essence of speech. All besides is ravens croaking. It's crows croaking. He says, if I don't praise you, if I don't speak about you, what else? Whatever I speak, it's like the crows crowing. It is ravens croaking. It's crows croaking. So the verse number 6, the celebrated poems of Matrushetta, only in thy dharma and thyself is found similarity to thee. So, how do I know who you are? To what shall I compare you? He says, only in your Dhamma, only in your teachings, and only in yourself you can be found. So if we have to find Baba Sahib Ambedkar only in the Buddha and his Dhamma, only in his great thoughts left behind, we can find him. So other dharmas do not penetrate into thy presence. So you see, so whenever we get into this great the great universe of Baba Sahib Ambedkar or the Buddha, in that presence, nothing else can enter our mind. No lower thought can take hold of our mind. So I'm not able to resist reading further. I'm going to read it last. If the all transient dharma of the Buddha are set face to face, they remain in being, whereas every other things turn to the dung. So seeing the Buddha face to face, witnessing the mind of the Buddha, the great being like Baba Sahib Ambedkar, we can remain there. That's the only thing that we can do, which is of any value to us as a human being. Other things, every other things turn to dung, isn't it? So you see, what I think is reading Buddha and his Dhamma, thinking about Baba Sahib Ambedkar is very important. Is rather the heart of the practice, and most of the times we tend to negate the devotional practices. But when we look at the Buddha and his Dhamma, it's not, as I said in the beginning, is a rational exercise in itself. It is, of course, we have to use our rational mind. But I think more than that, if we have this mind of devotion, if we have this mind of bhakti, if we have the mind of putting our kaya, vacha, and mana in the service of these great beings, I think our enlightenment, whatever that is achieved. That is the very quick path, the path of devotion to the freedom, isn't it? We don't have to We don't have to go here and there. This is a straight, direct path, because we have a direct example in the life of in the being of Baba Ambedkar. We know that he has gone there, and he had this power to free. His life has a great, not just a message, but a message that is a purificatory message. That's an emancipatory message in itself. So I think as we end our 2 years journey, it's not the end of something, it's the beginning of many things. And I have been saying that from the very first day, that we all have to become, in one way or other, the vehicles of this great vehicle that is Buddha is Dhamma. Communicate in our local languages wherever we can, do whatever we can to celebrate the great life of the Buddha, the Baba Ambedkar, and by virtue of that, the great message that he has left behind, particularly in the form of the Buddha is Dhamma. So I would say that this is not the end of the study. It will, as Matruchitta says about Dhamma, it goes on till the end of our life, to our last breath, till we cease to exist. So till we cease to exist, let our life be devoted to the great beings. And in our case, we are very lucky to have that great being appeared among us. He was there to influence, he was there to guide, he was there to lead, he was there to emancipate. And this attitude of devotion has such a quality, such a purity, such an emancipatory quality to it, that I think the community that we are born into is a very, 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 though we don't believe in luck, it's a very lucky community in the entire world, and we are seeing the effect of that. As one light arises in the community, how many houses are lightened? And if we can lighten ourselves, we will be in a way able to lighten many other lives. So let the light that Baba Ambedkar has awakened, and which is present in the Buddha and Dhamma, may continue to awaken many, many people. And the more that light awakens within us, it will inspire many, many people, many, many generations to come. So I thank you all. It's the teaching or talking is not about a speaker. You need a person to listen to. The more you speaking is important, but if there is nobody listening to it, as it is said, jungle mein moor nacha kisi ne na dekha. So if the moor is peacock is dancing alone in the forest, nobody listens. His dance has no significance at all. So this class is our perseverance for 2 years is not, it's not easy to pursue something for 2 years, and we have done it. And all of you, most of you were there in the classes. Sometimes I feel I will confess to you, sometimes I feel very happy when somebody tells me that I have studied some of the classes, and they had profound joy out of it. So if we could produce even a single moment of joy in the life of anybody through this great exercise that we have done, all of us, I think our job is finished. We can sleep happily, and I think there is a long way to go. Let's plan something out in the future. Till then, Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mangesh sir. It's such an enlightening talk for the last talk of the Buddha and his Dhamma. And then I completely agree that we have to have the devotion, we have to have a faith with a purified mind, and then the way we lightening ourselves, and then we need to transfer that light to all the people, whoever we are in contact, whoever we are in touch with each other, and then spare the Buddha and his Dhamma, because that Dhamma is is crossing all the barriers, it's crossing all the creed, all the caste, religion, all the country, and whenever we go any part of the world, we always lighten that part of the world by our devotion with the Buddha and his Dhamma. So, wonderful session. Then I will request Umesh Bhai to conclude the vote of thanks for today's session.
Thank you. Jai Bhim and Namo Buddhaya to all. Today I feel extremely honored and privileged for having giving the opportunity to extend the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. On behalf of team members, I would like to propose a vote of thanks to all associated with the aim of getting the essence of Buddha and his Dhamma. Needless to say, this is a momentous day when we have come to a milestone on the journey started last 2 years. Though journey is still on and we have miles to go, and the heartiest congratulations to all for 14th October, the historical Dhamma Chakra Parivartan Day. In this journey, we all got so many motives in our lives. Starting, I am just remembering the first session, and I would like on your behalf to thanks the thought that came into the mind of Mangesh Bhai and all associated with this, Pankaj Bhai and Alka ji, to start this journey. Lot of people have joined us on this journey and few have left. And in this journey, we gained so many beautiful things in our life. And one of that beautiful thing is that this family, that family of Rucha, Alka ma'am, Mangesh Bhai, Shashank, Anil ji, Rahul ji, Dara, lot of people we have virtually created one family. And that's the beauty of what, and thank to that thought, thank to all for giving us a new bondage, and that is the essence of Buddha and his Dharma. Here I have just 6 slides to share with you to pay thanks, especially to the Mangesh Bhai. Mangesh Bhai, एक दिल में एक जज्बात है कि ये आईना क्या दे सकेगा आपको आपकी शख्सियत की खबर. ये आईना क्या दे सकेगा आपको आपकी शख्सियत की खबर. कभी हमारी आंखों से आकर पूछे कितने लाजवाब हैं आप. इतनी खूबसूरती के साथ आपने हमें ये बुद्धा एंड हिज धम्मा दिया. इतनी खूबसूरती के साथ इसको आपने हमें समझाया. इसकी एक एक चैप्टर पंकज भाई ने भी बहुत खूबसूरत बताया कि विद एवरी सिंगल वर्ड एंड विद सिंगल लाइन you have enlightened us with the various thoughts that guided us to lead our life. And Buddha and his Dhamma is the life, is the way of life. Thank you for that, sir. Let us rise up and be thankful. Or if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us be thankful. Very beautifully said by our torchbearer, our idol. Religion must be mainly be a matter of principles. Only the principles. They cannot be the matter of rules. The moment it degenerates into the rules, it ceases to be a religion. as it kills the responsibility, which is an essence of the true religious act. The philosophy behind these words is totally reflected in Buddhism. Today, we can all give a very thankful note if we follow this law. I solemnly declare and affirm that I shall hereafter lead my life according to the principles and teachings of the Buddha and his Dhamma. This will be the pure and true gratitude towards our 2 years of journey. Again, in the last, thank you so much all. It's not the joy that make us grateful. It's a gratitude that make us joyful. Thank you so much all for joining this journey, especially Mangesh Bhai. Hand it over to Pankaj Bhai for further proceedings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Umesh bhai. Shashank, please. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, उमेश भाई. किस जज्बे के साथ आपने ये ग्रेटिट्यूड सेशन किया है, वो जज्बा हमें बहुत पसंद आया. जो पंक्तियां आपने हमारे लिए पढ़ी बहुत ही पसंद आए, तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. So now we'll end this session with reading a prayer for his return to his native land, and then we'll chant Sabbe Satta Sukhiyantu for 3 to 4 times. So I will start reading this prayer of last prayer of the Buddha's Dhamma, and then we will get ourselves into engaging, spreading the Buddha's Dhamma throughout our life till our last breath. So here is the prayer. A prayer for his return to his native land. O exalted one, I trust myself wholeheartedly to the Tathagata whose light pervades, without any impediment, the regions in the 10 quarters, and express my earnest desire to be born in the Thy land. In realizing in vision the appearance of Thy land, I know that it surpasses all realms in the threefold existence, that it is like sky embracing all, vast and spacious, without boundaries. Thy mercy and compassion, in accordance with the righteous way, is an outgrowth of the stock of merits accumulated by Thee, which are beyond all worldly good. And Thy light permeates everywhere, like the mirrors of the sun and the moon. Let me pray that all beings, having been born there, shall proclaim the truth like Buddha thyself. Herewith, I write down this essay and utter these verses and pray that I could see Thee, O Buddha, face to face, and that I could, together with all my fellow beings, attain the birth in the land of bliss. Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu, Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu, Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu, सबे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु सबे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much all. Thank you so much. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shashank.
Namo
Jai Bhim.
Buddhaya.
Jai
Thank
Bhim,
you
Namo
all.
Buddhaya.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Jai Bhim, everyone.
जय
Jai
भीम.
Bhim.
Jai.
डॉक्टर साहब एक ना सबका लाइव वीडियो लेके एक फोटोग्राफ फ्रेम कर लीजिए, सब अपनी तस्वीरें
Let us take it how somebody has to capture that home
हाँ,
screen or something.
प्रिंट स्क्रीन ले लीजिएगा.
Shashank, you can do that?
Yeah, I can do that, but can you do that?
I'm trying to print screen. No? Just hold on. One second.
I have to do that now.
उमेश भाई साहब कहाँ अंधेरे में बैठे हैं?
जी जी सर. मेरा रूम ही ऐसे डार्क रूम है और फोकस रहता है आपके ऊपर. स्पॉटलाइट में रहते हैं.
अरे
एक चीज और बहुत अच्छी लगी मुझे
बोलो ना भाई.
के साथ. मतलब एक शायरी है, अंदाज कुछ अलग है मेरे सोचने का, अंदाज कुछ अलग है मेरे सोचने का, सबको मंजिल का शौक है मुझे रास्तों का. जो आपने पढ़ाया ना चैप्टर वाइज डॉक्टर साहब, इट वाज ग्रेट.